All right, all right. Hey, party people. I need I'm on I'm on a live and I'm doing the work, right? I call myself doing the work. I need to understand. First of all, I'm not here. It's gonna sound like it. I know, I get it. I'm not here for Trump. I can't even imagine how anybody who knows me would think that. And I don't think they do. But if you don't know me, you might think I could be. And I don't care if you think I would be or not, right? I have no reason to lie to anybody. I'm not. Um, I come on here because uh, I think I think somebody needs to say what is not being said. Uh, I'm for America. If I'm for anything, and in America, it means both sides. I don't take both sides just because I'm afraid to pick a side or anything like that. And I only say that just in case somebody might feel like that might be the case. I want, everybody wants something. When people protest like that, like you see on the screen, or they come on here, Facebook, and say, Trump is horrible, or the people who love Trump say the Democrats are crazy, or what do they call it? Trump crazy syndrome, Trump deranged syndrome. Everybody's calling each other names, right? That's not what into. I really would like an explanation though. You know what I mean? I would like to understand how at nearly 60 years old, right, in August, right? I want to understand how I can be 60 years old and I can have seen all kinds of stuff that go on through my life as a kid, with the Iran hostage situation. I'm a military veteran. I remember when the Marines got killed, and I remember all the things that Iran has done, at least a few prominent things. I don't know, right? I don't really follow all this stuff like that. But I do know that I've seen enough death to the USA, flags burned. I've seen my brother who went to Vietnam and many other people who went to Vietnam. And I've heard many stories from actual Marines who I worked with who were Vietnam veterans still in the Marine Corps when I got in. Because I went in the Marine Corps back in 1984. And Vietnam ended in 1974, 75, around that time. So it was just 10 years, 10 years. And those young Marines who went to Vietnam, who were in their early 18, 19, 20, and went to Vietnam in the later part of it in 70, in 71, 72, 73, which would have made them probably in the Marine Corps for 3 years. And they made a life, they retired in 20 years. So when I got to them, they were in 10, 12, 13 years. And now they've got rank. They're like staff sergeants. They're E6, E7s, right? I just want to talk to everybody, but the military people kind of get me with all of that part, right? Um, so these guys had gone to Vietnam, survived, and were still in the Marine Corps. We and I've talked to these guys, right? We're all together. We're all Marines and stuff, and a lot of them talk about how they weren't able to fight like they were trained to fight and do what they were supposed to do. And you can't do this and you can't do that. All because of optics, because America, Congress, the president and the cabinets and all those people were pretty much afraid of widening the war. And basically, they had to fight with their hands tied. You know, if we're going to go to Vietnam to do a thing, they should have let the guys do it. But they were, in many cases, I'm saying it probably, I wasn't there, but I got to say it like that. Probably I wasn't there, but if you're at the house and you smell the food burning, you can say, "Oh, I don't know if the food burned. I wasn't there." You know if the food was burning or not. So, but just to keep it, because I'm not on a platform that I own. Well, I wasn't there. However, you know, America for since after World War II, even during the Korean War. right? I don't even study this stuff. I just know it from being in in the military and them drilling it into us. We understand. You see old war footage, you kind of see what it is, whether it's propaganda or not. Um, but the point is, there's we have been doing nothing but being uh, going to wars and not fighting them, and just without a better way of putting it, playing around, just playing around with young people's lives. You know, where clearly there was an agenda to try to stop a thing that the people in the government who run the government felt like we should have a presence because whatever, right? But not allowing, the takeover or whatever it is. And when I look back at nearly 60 this year, um, I look back and think of one thing. A friend of mine, and I hope you don't mind me saying his name. His name's Daryl Wise, somebody I served in the Marine Corps with. He went in 1 year before me, and he almost ended up in Beirut at that barracks thing, but something happened in boot camp where he was held back. He was ready to ship out. And I only met Wise, and we're cool today. Um, and I just found this out recently. We were talking, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I was supposed to be sent over there, but something happened in boot camp, and he got delayed before he got his orders. And that's what saved him from getting blown up because they just blew up the barracks of all those Marines that most people don't know about or maybe forgot about. And many things happen that we as regular civilians out here, we don't know. All we know is, where's the money? Why is the gas high? Why can't we have this? And then we got blamed. Let's just be honest, guys. That's what it is, right? I'm not, this isn't a popular position for me. It should be on Facebook, singing little tunes and yuck, yuck, huckety huck, right? That's what I should be doing. That's what I do. But sometimes I sit there and I'm like, well, I want to say something else. So this is one of those times again. And I've been more frequently doing this. Um, well, I guess one thing is I'm not concerned with followers. I have however many followers, it's not even what I was 15, 1,600 followers. And they're not even real followers because I don't even see them. I may interact with probably 20 to 30 people who might give a thumbs up when I post something. Nobody's really bantering with me on here. And my point in bringing that up is that's not even what I'm here for. I just want to be able to say what I want to say, and maybe a couple of people will respond, and everybody's got an idea, right? I guess that's what I guess that's what I'm doing, right? We're all on here for some reason or other to post a picture or respond to something. We just feel like we should do it. I don't know. Many people don't. But getting back to the point, um, I think it's time. I personally, I think it's time for if we're going to go and fight a war, if these people who don't fight the war, like President Trump, he ain't going, right? We don't see his sons. I don't see any of them fighting the war, right? Let's just call it what it is, okay? So if they're going to send people like me, Wise, and some of the others to give our lives, right? Then then we should if they're going to do that, then I think they should stop worrying about what you all say. Watch this, guys. Watch this. They should either fight the war and say to hell with what you people say. Now I know this is the most controversial thing, right? We're going to let these guys fight. We're going to arm them, and we're going to send them in to win, not to look cool and not to get, for the international, whoever else to say y'all shouldn't have done that or whatever. Because you're getting people killed, young men and women who go in for whatever reason they go in, right? Getting them killed when they don't need to get killed. Because you, Trump, And and I'm not even blaming Trump. He's in office, right? The other Biden and them did the same thing, right? Whether they started or not, they doing stuff. They all do. I'm not gonna sit here and say Trump because I don't have that where everything Trump does is wrong and everything that the other side does. I just don't have it. I don't see it that way. And most people don't either, but it's not popular to do what I'm doing. It's not popular to come on here. And I would do the same thing everybody else is doing. I would fall in line too. I would. Are you kidding me? Of course I would. But I just don't care. That's the only thing. I don't what do I care? I don't care about you. Let me say it like this. I don't care about any of you. How about that? Like I said it. I don't care about what any of you guys think. And the reason I don't care is because I shouldn't care. You're gonna think what you think anyway, right? So why should I do something to try to get you to not think a certain way? But that's ridiculous. It's always been, it's kind of ridiculous to me. You're going to think what you think. We all like to be thought of favorably. Of course we do, right? Anybody to tell you different, I don't know. I don't believe it. But everybody's just not gonna think of you favorably. It's just not gonna happen, right? So why not just be real with it, right? And that's where I'm coming from because I just feel like it actually. So getting back to the greater point, you know, what if I've never been a general in the military. I was what they call a foot soldier now. A soldier is army. I know that Marines are, oh, you foot soldier, you're a Marine. People don't know that. They just know foot soldier. They think everything is a soldier. Every person in the military is a soldier. They don't understand all that, right? But I was just a foot Marine, just a non-ranking, meaning not a general, you know, lieutenant colonel. None of those officers that you see with the battle plans. We're the ones who are at the bottom. I only did 4 years. I didn't stay in for 20 years. I didn't have I'm not saying that people who stay in for 20 years have cushy jobs. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is I didn't have a cushy job. I felt like if I had a cushy job in the Marine Corps, I probably would have stayed in. But I got out just to give you, as I'm just bantering here, as I'm just kind of just talking, just as I feel like it. I got out because I never had a job before. I never worked anywhere. My first job was the Marine Corps, and I liked it. It was different. It was vastly different from anything I'd seen coming from Baltimore. I never really left my block. I never. Let's talk. Let me just bring you into the whole view. I never went I never went to the mall and hung out as a 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old, none of that. I never I never had a girlfriend, I never dated, I never drove. As you get older, when you're 15, 16, you start getting a little licensed. I never really went outside the neighborhood, to be honest with you, right? And I don't know if a lot of people know that about. I never got to do too much. My parents they were like pretty strict in the sense that it wasn't even like they were strict. It was just like, just forget about it. Don't even think about it. Go where? Sit down, right? And people who know me and they know, because there are people on here, my neighbors that came up with me, they right on it, they know. And they'll probably chime in and say, yeah, I remember you couldn't even go on the street. They'll say, Mag, or I'm going to call them out Mag or Chrissy or one of the makers. It's love. It's love. It's how we come up, man. These are the people we came up with. Nobody should get upset with them saying stuff about when we were kids and stuff, right? Who cares? Whatever. So, and it's and it's and it's funny to me now, right? When I look back. But yeah, so I was pretty. I didn't get to do, and I didn't. I couldn't even work. I remember my older brother, who's a couple of years older than me, Biggie. Um, we called him Biggie. He was a twin, Biggie, and a little bit, little bit, and big bit, and we turned that into. uh, Big Bit, Biggie and Lils. We didn't even say Littles, we said Lils. And we didn't even say Lils, we said Lols. It's funny how the vernacular is been. So, but they were twins, so Biggie. I remember he got a job down at Oakfield. Now, again, I'm running off the path here because people are like, look, okay, what is Oakfield? This doesn't, people can't relate to all that, but so what? I'm telling my story. And people who know, now, he got a job at Oakfield right down the street, probably, what, a couple of blocks away, right around the corner, whatever. And I remember me and Lils, we were like, "Dang, Biggie got a job." Because we were all like, I don't know. Well, actually, the twins were a couple of years older than me, so I was yeah, I think you had to have a work permit and you had to be 16 or something. I remember whatever they told me, right? So I couldn't get the job. I wanted to have my own little money too. But Biggs was kind of getting out there. He had a little money, you know what I'm saying? He was I was like, whoa, right? He started smoking. We were shocked. They let him smoke, but he was, in high school. I remember I was 17, but he was 19 because they had a couple of little troubles back in the twins, both of them, same years. They had a couple of troubles with school. Nothing, man. Yes. They got a couple of grades they didn't go to, and then they were behind a couple of grades, right? Both of them. And they're smart guys. I don't know what the deal was with all that, but somehow they both got left behind a couple of grades. So we're all in the same grade by the seventh grade. We're all in the same grade. Me and my two older brothers who are twins. They're 2 years older than me. And so I remember it was like by the time we got to the 11th, 12th grade, they were like 19, right? And so if you had to be 16 to do something or 17, they were like, they were still going to school, got their degree. We all got our diplomas at the same time. And so Biggie was kind of more advanced. He was more like me, but he was just older, right? He was more like, I'm getting my thing, whatever. My other brother wasn't so, I mean, he just wasn't like, I think anyway, our personalities were a little different in terms of getting out there doing some stuff. He was more reserved. Yeah, that's the way to put it, right? And to this day, he's smart. Lil's, he's very smart, very very measured. He was always measured and not quick to jump into something, and just very measured. To this day, he's an amazing guy, right? Um, but so Biggie, this is cool. This is cool. This story is good. Biggie got the job down there, and like I said, he got his little money, and he's rolling and I think because they were really actually over 18, my mom said, "Well, look, you want to go out, go to the mall, do what you want to do." He got his driver's license. He was driving. I was like, God, now we're all equal. It's the funniest thing because we're all kind of like equal. Me and my two older brothers, who we're all from the seventh grade on, we were really equal, right? We didn't look at the age. It wasn't no age. It didn't even matter. It wasn't even. Um, and he was just kind of branching out. I was like, wow. He got a girlfriend, yeah. And and we knew he was doing it to her. Now y'all gonna really be like, Marcel, you went too far. Oh, we knew he was with his girlfriend. He's 19, right? I mean, dang. And me and my other brother, we ain't know, we weren't even near that level, right? So and they probably, well, my other brother, he hears this, he probably be like, why is he telling her? It's nothing to tell. This is just kid stuff, right? Um, and so I went on into the Marine Corps. And the point in me telling you all of that, just to give you a real idea, I'd never done anything. Never went to the mall, never, well, most people, 13, 14, they kind of weekend, let's go to the mall, hang out, mundominant. That wasn't my thing. I wanted to, but that wasn't my thing. When it came to playing in the bands, I remember Johnny, Boy, and Rick, and they had the JBL. I wanted to be in a band. I was always somehow. Now later, I got in the radio, did some major things, but I've always been poking around in that area. But my parents were like, they sensed something in me where they were like, no, we got to sit him down because he'll go off and do something and he don't even know, whatever, right? And and they could have been right. They could have been right. I think they were actually. And God has a way of knowing best anyway. And what the Marine Corps did for me was gave me structure and as I'm coming up and what do you call it? Structure and I reasoned better with my decisions and work ethic and all that. I never had a job. I went from nothing to doing stuff that I never thought humanly possible to do, right? All under structure and all of that. So it really did a lot for me. I don't know about other people, but for me, to this day, the discipline and the structure is still there with me, right? So, uh, so when I got out of the Marine Corps, if I'm following my own story here, because I'm all over the place, when I got out of the Marine Corps, um, I got out of the Marine Corps just because I had never done anything, and my time was up, my 4 years. I said, well, let me see and I got so used to being in that environment and it was great. You know, I had a job, I was making money, got my license. Everything happened to me in the Marine Corps. Getting a license, first girlfriend, first whatever, everything. It just all changed. Money, having money. I remember my first check, it was $250. I never had $20. Right? And I can tell this story too. I gotta tell this part, right? When I got out of the boot camp, I must have had about 3 grand. What's 3 grand? In the 80s, what in the world am I gonna do? I'm rich. I remember thinking, I'm rich. I'm a billionaire, right? Because during the boot camp, we didn't go out anywhere. We didn't spend any of the money, just kept accumulating. You know, we were there 3 months, got paid twice a month, I think $250, right? Um, so anyway, I went home for Christmas. This is good. This is good stuff. This is a good podcast here. So I went home for Christmas and it was like 10 days. And I immediately reported to my duty station and went back to it was Camp Lejeune in North Carolina. And I remember it wasn't long. We did some more training there for I guess a month or two. And then they shipped us to our major duty station, right? And then from there, it wasn't long before we went on what they call a deployment. We went on training. And I can't even remember what it was. I think it might have been, oh, you know what it was? It was Okinawa. So I hadn't been in the Marine Corps a year yet. I hadn't been out of my parents' house a year, 6 months. I was in Okinawa, Japan, and just a whole nother country, whole nother land, everything. And it was just great. And from that to another, but but again, money just adding up because where we were training. Now I was in a part of the Marine Corps where it wasn't a 9 to 5 job. It was really what you think about. If you don't know anything about the military, it's what you probably would think. Like everybody in the Army and everybody in the Marine Corps, all they do is train, shoot, fire guns, and go into jungles and train there and train. Everybody doesn't do that in the Marine Corps, and everybody doesn't do that in the Army, right? My job was of those guys who actually do that, though. Go in, train, and do like when you see these people, they're saying they're sitting in a battalion or a group of Marines or whatever, and these are the guys that are sent to do that. Not they're people who have jobs, and again, nothing to take away from other Marines. Please, I hope this is coming off right because it's very important to me. I don't want to make it sound like, oh, I was a tough guy and they weren't. No, because it wasn't at all that. No, and I'm trying to make sure I don't go there. But every Marine, every person in the military has their duty and their job. I went in at the end of the fiscal year. I knew nothing about the Marine Corps, except I wanted to go in because my brother had gone in. And at the end of the fiscal year, if you don't choose a job, they'll just throw you in one. And this isn't the job that people pick, but a lot of people pick this job because they're fired up and they just got fight, fight, kill, kill. Let's get them. Well, my little dumb behind, I didn't know, but I probably would not have chosen it. But I'm glad God works in a certain way where I'm glad I got in there because it was so hardcore and so much training and just rough stuff that I learned so much about myself as a little kid. Because believe me, even when I was 18, my maturity level had to be at 12. Right? It had to be. And probably still at 12. No, I'm just kidding. But it had to be at 12, right? But I learned a lot about working hard and striving and discipline. I mean, it's just real. It's not whatever. Whether I like it or not, I did. I learned a lot about my threshold of pain and what I can do, and it's real. If you're gonna, one place to find that out is probably in the military anyway. But getting back to um, so I said, let me get out and see what's out there. I never had a regular job. I don't know, man. But I got used to being in that environment, I tell you that. And I got used to it. It was easy. We trained everywhere. We went and we lived in Norway outside in the freezing cold. We went to the jungles of Panama. We trained any and everywhere there would ever be somewhere to go, because that's what the Marines do, right? The Marines have the whole thing. We have the planes, we have the boats with the Navy. We jump out of stuff too, or we do these beach landings. Like right now, you see the Strait of Hormuz, or Hormuz, as they would say, and uh, you have to you have to come off the ships and swim the shore and storm the beach and all that or whatever. And that's what we specialize in, Marine, right? Marine, right? Marine Corps, part of the Navy. On the air, on land, and sea. Just give me a little quick little class. Like, it's funny because they say part of the Marine Corps hymn, when every branch of service got their hymn, and they even said in there, on the air, on land and sea, air, land, and sea. That's what the Marines specialize in. Just like the Navy SEALs, the C, the SE stands for sea, air, and land. SEAL. That's what the acronym's for, as far as I understand. And it's the same type of deal. They just train a little different for smaller, special, things like that. Anyway, without getting too far into all that, because I don't think that we need that much information to understand what I'm saying here, right? Uh, so just being just being in that environment, I got used to it, and we went around over and over again, training all these real crazy conditions and mountains, and boy, many times I just knew it was over. Man, we're not gonna make. I'm not gonna get up this mountain and get around this little piece. It's just not gonna happen. It's over. I remember thinking like that, being happy with it, like, okay, cool, it is what it is. And then you get through it and you become emboldened, though. You're like, whoa, man, you know. Sorry about that, guys. I just got a call, and I'm trying to do my little podcast, and I ain't taking no calls while I'm trying to do my little podcast about that. All right. But anyway, I'm back to the little podcast here. So I getting out of the car. Got to take care of a couple things while I do my podcast here on my phone. So I what was I in this story? Oh, so I decided to come out and just see what's out there, right? See what's in the world, see what it is. Um, and long story short, without going into that immense detail, I um I got on the radio, and and it was great. So I'm working in the local, well, my hometown, 92Q radio. And needless to say, I'm done with the military. This is great. And been doing that for the last 36 years, right? So now let's get to the meat of it. Okay. All right. I'm gonna pause y'all here for a minute. So um so yeah, I sorry about that, guys. I had to pause it for a second. pause the sound. So I uh I got out. I'm sorry, I just had to have a quick conversation and then I messed up my train of thought here for a second. So I got out and yeah, I got into the radio and all that, and it was cool. And that's what I've been doing ever since. So fast forward all the way to the day, right? To now. Um, it really bothers me that this is where we are. And where you got all of these people who really don't understand, guys, I'm telling you, they really don't understand how the sausage is made. They don't understand how the sausage is made, right? And there are too many people. I see this No Kings protest, and I don't like it. I'll tell you why I don't like it. Because it's the same people who mess me up. This is the whole gist of all that I told you. If you listen this far, here we go. This is all I was really trying to say, but I said all of that because that's how I do. And all that extra to say. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that they set me up already before. They set me up by having me believe that this guy would make it to the White House. There was no chance. And I believed it. I couldn't believe there's no way this guy's gonna get in the White House. And I'm not happy about that. I didn't vote for him. I don't I still haven't gotten over how all the impeachments, right? This guy had, I don't even know. That's why I always jokingly say a zillion. He had a zillion um, felonies. I watched him on TV. The first time he got in there, he said, "Yeah, you could just grab ladies by the coochie." You know what he said. Um, through all of that, this guy gets elected. Two impeachments. He got impeached twice, and all throughout, they sent him to court. They ran him through polls. They had protests like this, Black Lives Matter, all kinds of stuff. And I was like, yeah, he's an idiot. It's over. There's no way we can lose. And they lost. I say they, because I'm not even taking credit for it. Along. We lost the election to this guy. How does that work? Well, I'm gonna tell you why. Because these same people we see out here with no kings, this is what I think. With the no kings stuff, right? They're out there hot and heavy with it. I believe that it's like an echo chamber. Like people say, the echo chamber. Imagine a group of people in a small office, and that's all you see is the everybody thinks the same way. Yeah, we're the ones that's doing the right thing, and the people out there don't know nothing. We can't see the size of the people that's out there. We just see who's in the room here. And we start like, yeah, we are on it. We're doing the right thing. Yay. And there are many more people we don't hear or see. So we get caught up in our message, like, yeah, we're right, we're doing the right thing, no kings and all that. And then we've seen this over and over again, especially during the election. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm a free thinker. I'm just telling you how I feel. I'm mad, really. I'm kind of mad. But I feel kind of duped a little bit, to be honest with you. Because I was all in. I ain't no more. Because I'm really for America. I think we're making a mistake when we pick one side versus the other anyway. Okay. And I still feel like I'm not 100% sure all the stuff that they say this guy did. If he had done all that stuff, why is he in there? Something's not adding up. We're supposed to expect that he's just magical, or maybe, maybe he didn't do as much as people were saying. Because how in the hell is he in there? Oh, because he knows some special stuff. That's why. You know how to, I don't know. But I do know I'm very disappointed in the fact that I was on 12 when the election was happening. I was like, yeah, we got our people in, we getting Kamala in there, we rolling, yeah. And as a 60-year-old black man, I don't care what nobody says. I was pretty excited about having that African American woman. Y'all can call her what you want. You know, she sound black, she look black, she black, and it ain't even about that. But as a 60-year-old, we came up during a time where we didn't see many representatives in the White House like Barack Obama or Kamala Harris. So I'm not saying that's all that matters, but it feels good. Y'all know it feels. I don't know if y'all know or not. If you're not black, maybe you don't know. But it feels something. It's a little something for us. We feel a certain way about that. I'm saying it, right? And we feel good about it. So we maybe that's part of why we want to vote for Kamala Harris. Maybe we're not looking at everything. We're just like, well, what's so wrong about her? Nobody else did anything fantastic, you know, that was on any other side. So, maybe that's I don't know. I'm just being honest. And so I'm disappointed because I feel like I was sold an untrue. Because I still can't understand how he got there unless he wasn't as bad as they all said he was. Now that's the last place we want to go, ain't it? Ain't it though? How in the hell is this man who did all that stuff in there unless there are a lot of other people who feel differently and we don't hear from them? Where are they? Where the hell are these people who are holding this guy up? So where are you? Every time I see us in a room on Facebook or Instagram or somewhere, YouTube, saying he ain't this and he ain't that, Saturday Night Live, all the see, like everybody knows he's horrible. But could we be the people in the little room? Could we could we possibly be the people in the little room who don't get it? Could we? I'm just saying. Are we the minority who think that we're the majority? Are we the little puppy barking at the big dog, and the big dog ain't saying that because it's just like that little dog. He just yaps, He thinks he's big. He can't do nothing. He's just not big. He think he is. Yeah. Are we that? That's all. I'm done. I'm out. It's windy out here anyway. Think about that. Think about it. So just think about stuff. Shoot. And get mad at me